Joined by Wyatt Scarritt, offensive lineman from Avon Old Farms. Wyatt, how are you this evening?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time, man. We really do appreciate it. And of course, you are a member of the class of 20, or you will be a member, I should say, of the class of 2025.
So,
First things first, how has this offseason been going for you so far?
it's been going great, really. I'm getting stronger, faster. Really working on my agility and just being an overall better player.
Yeah, you mentioned working on those things and being an overall better player. And obviously, with that comes the responsibility of not only getting bigger and faster and stronger for your upcoming season, but also you want to also improve to play at the next level.
Mhm.
How has that process gone for you so far in terms of talking to coaches and where are you at with that process right now?
It's good. I've been talking to a lot of coaches. Just trying to like I said, improve in all aspects of the game. Uh, and Avon's really helping me do that.
Yeah, of course you play for John Hooley, who has Division I college coaching experience.
Yeah.
Terrific coach, terrific in terms of getting his players recruited. Talk a little bit about your football journey, when you started playing football, and how did you end up at Avon Old Farms?
Yeah, I started playing tackle football in fourth grade at my local youth football program. I was always, the biggest kid on the field all the way through high school until my junior year, where I had an opportunity to stay and play at my public school and most likely play, FCS football, which is, a great honor. But, um, I always believed in being the best, capable of becoming. And that's why, we never thought about looking at private schools and prep schools until, my junior year. Um, and then we found Avon and we found a couple other schools. We narrowed them down. But, Avon overall, once I visited, I just knew right away that that was the school I wanted to be at. Um, and then, so that's really how I ended up there. Uh, Coach Hooley, he's great. It's like as soon as I got there, it wasn't as much as what I could do for them, but what they can do for me. Um, so that really, you know, me and my parents, we love that. So that's how I ended up at Avon.
How much is playing at Avon Old Farms, playing against the competition that you play against, help you now, but also help prepare you to play collegiately?
I mean, you play against some of the best competition in the country. Um, just on our team alone, we had Ryan Puglisi, Benedict Dume, Owen Alcini, Jack Hines, Zach Luckman, Kiki Adams. So, and then, you got great players that we play against every game, um, multiple Division I athletes. So, it really prepares you for that level that, you really couldn't get, anywhere else. New England football, it's different. Not a lot of people know about it. Um, and, it's on the uprising.
You play offensive line, obviously you're 6'5", 290 pounds. We're living in a time now, Wyatt, where growing up, a lot of kids don't say, hey, I want to be an offensive lineman. But
Yeah.
when you're your size, you're going to play offensive line.
Yeah.
What do you like about playing up front on the offensive line, defensive line? What do you like about playing in the trenches?
It's just gritty. I always love being physical. When I started in fourth grade, I was the O line guy. I always wanted to play O line. It always appealed to me. Um, yeah, that's pretty. I just love playing O line. It's always appealed to me.
What do you love about playing the game? I ask this question often every time I have a guest on a recruiting visit. Why do you love playing football? Football is really not for everyone. And what I mean by that, and I think it's important to clarify, by what I mean by that is that anybody can play it.
Mhm.
The unique thing about football is it's not about shooting a ball or hitting a ball or shooting a puck.
Yeah.
It's more about physical ability, toughness, a willingness and a desire to be good. Not that those things don't apply in other sports, but football's hard. And I think at times it doesn't appeal to all kids. But what do you love about playing our great game of football?
I mean, honestly, it's just like it's kind of like a getaway for me. It's like I can it helps me clear my head, and I can just I love doing it. I love I love doing something I'm good at, and I'm good at football. Um, you know, ever since I was young, I always wanted to play football. I love football since I can remember. Um, my parents were never really into football. They kind of brought the idea up to me when I was younger, and they put me in football, and I mean, I think it was the best decision, you know, like of my life. I just there's no other game like it really.
Just talking about making the decision to go to Avon Old Farms, how hard of a transition at first was that for you? Because it's a different kind of an environment. It's a very competitive environment. And it's not just competitive on the field on a Saturday, on a Friday night, or a Saturday afternoon. It's a competitive environment year round. How much of an adjustment was that for you when you first got to the school?
Um, Honestly, it really wasn't that. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It helped that I live 25 minutes away from Avon, so it really wasn't that big of an adjustment. Obviously, living there, um, my roommate he came to Avon the same year I did, Rayshawn Andrews, and he's my roommate, so that helped. The whole living with somebody else, um, and then obviously the teachers and the coaches and teammates they all they welcomed me right in right away, so it really wasn't that big of a gap. Obviously we have to wear a suit and tie every day, but you get used to it.
Yeah, and listen, linemen don't necessarily love shirts and ties, but like you said, you get used to it. I do want to come back to the recruiting process for a sec. Obviously, at your size, your skill set, you're going to garner a lot of attention. How have those conversations been for you so far with college coaches? Because let's face it can be an overwhelming process, right? And I know that there's people out there that are saying, "Oh, geez, it must be hard getting recruited." But the reality is, and you know this, Wyatt, it can be a lot.
Yeah.
You've definitely got to be on your toes when dealing with college coaches in this process.
hmm Yeah, for sure. I mean, um, a lot of the coaches I've talked to, they want me to stay inside. They want me to play guard, potentially learn how to snap the ball just in case. At that Power Five level, Group of Five level, there's a lot of competition at the O-line spot. Um, but overall, it's been good. Um, it has been a little stressful, but my parents helped me out with that. My coach helped me out with that big time. Um, and it's nice. It's nice being surrounded by Division One athletes because you can bounce things off each other. They've been through that whole process, so it's nice to be around guys like that you can talk to.
Obviously, we're living in a time now where there's such uncertainty at the collegiate level between the transfer portal and NIL and all this other stuff. How important is it for young men like yourself, young women who are playing, whether it be football or other sports? How important is it for young people in general today to make the right decision when it comes to school? Because while the portal is a nice out,
Yeah.
the reality is if you could pick the right school early, it can only benefit you.
Yeah. Right. Honestly, you know, you have to know how to promote yourself well. You gotta make sacrifices. You gotta know, you gotta go to these schools. You have to visit. You have to talk to the coaches. You just gotta make sure that the school is a good fit for you. That's really where we're at right now with that whole process. I got a couple of visits planned, and trying to see where this whole thing is gonna fall. Uh, but I mean, with the transfer portal and the NIL, I think it is what it is. But you gotta just know how to promote yourself. You gotta make the right decision, um, despite of how others might feel about it. But yeah.
Have you thought about what you're going to major in potentially? Obviously, you have to think about life after football. In a perfect world, you get to play for as long as possible, play in the NFL. But have you thought about what you want to major in and life after football?
After football, my dad is into real estate, and he's a small business owner. So I've really always been into, the idea of getting into real estate. So I'm thinking about majoring in finance or economics or business. One of those three. So that's what the goal is after football.
Well, I'm a licensed agent myself. I have been since 2016 in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. So there you go, man. I mean,
Yeah,
hey, it's a great business. It can be a challenging business, as your dad will tell you. But if you have that finance background,
yeah, right.
it'll definitely help. And certainly, going to Avon Old Farms, you get the opportunity to play Power Five or Group of Five football.
Yeah.
You can certainly focus on it. You are watching the Recruiting Visit. I'm your host, John Serenitas. This week, we're joined by Avon Old Farm offensive lineman Wyatt Scarritt. And Wyatt, I was going to ask you, obviously, you think you got all this time between the end of the last season and going into the next season,
Mhm.
but it goes by pretty quick, the offseason. We're already into March. You've talked about the recruiting process and how that's been going for you. What's on tap for the rest of the spring in terms of camps and getting ready for football?
Well, so far, we're on spring break right now, and I have a couple unofficial visits planned to the schools that have offered me and some other schools. So we're trying to get through that, and then the big contact period in the spring. That's going to be a big thing. Coaches come down, watch us work out. We have big showcases, like 70 plus FBS coaches come down and watch us work out. So um, I'm just trying to stay light on my feet and work on my footwork and overall just try to get better.
You mentioned the showcases. We've been pretty fortunate to cover the ones here in Massachusetts. We plan on covering the Connecticut ones this year as well. How beneficial have those showcases have been for you guys? I mean, this is Coach Hooley. I know him. He doesn't like to take credit for the concept, but uh, this is his brainchild, in my opinion. This is his deal. And I think it's tremendous. I think it's a tremendous idea. I think it's tremendous that the NEPSAC coaches have come together to organize this and to put it on. It's an awesome opportunity for you guys to showcase yourselves. As you mentioned, there's probably going to be over 70 FBS coaches and FCS coaches. Probably when you add the FCS coaches in, and now you're talking to probably over 100 coaches, but there's going to be over 100 college coaches that are going to be going around New England that week, the middle of May, checking you guys out, going through drills, practicing. How important have these showcase days been for you guys? Because it's kind of one-stop shopping for the college coaches,
Yeah,
but it's also one-stop shopping for you guys in many ways.
yeah, right. I mean, it's so important to for development. And the first showcase that they did, I was there, and it was the first workout that I had with Avon and the team. And coming from like a smaller public school, a couple coaches would come by here and there, but it was nothing like that. And I mean, just to see that many coaches in one area, all looking and filming and talking to us. I mean, it was a great experience, and it helped me get that experience of talking to coaches early. Um, and especially with all the highly recruited kids we have around here, it just brought in so many great programs. And I'm really grateful for that whole showcase.
If I asked your teammates to use 3 words to describe you, what do you think they would say?
Probably hardworking, uh, probably a little funny.
A little funny?
A
Come
little,
on, you got to be funnier than that, dude.
uh,
I mean, judging by the first 14 minutes of the show here, you're definitely very mature and you're well spoken and articulate. But I bet you have a dry sense of humor.
Thank you. I would think I'm pretty funny myself, but hardworking.
I
Uh,
know the feeling.
yeah, hardworking, funny, uh, and overall just like a good person.
And now here comes the pressure question. What do you think your coaches would say if I asked them to describe you in 3 words?
I mean, I'm sure Coach Hooley's watching this right now, but
He is. I know he is.
probably hardworking. Again, probably hardworking. A great teammate. Um, and I mean, just overall, a great person. I mean, I would say, that he'd probably mimic the same things that my teammates would say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mentioned, I get the sense you're mature. I mean, where does that come from for you? Like, you seem like you're very mature, well-spoken, articulate, very businesslike.
Mhm.
Like you said, you think you're pretty funny. You don't get that vibe, and that's not a knock on you. You're very, very measured, businesslike. I feel like I'm talking to a 30, 35-year-old man. Like, has that always been how you are?
Honestly, not really. It really started from going to Avon. I mean, they have that whole culture of becoming a man, and uh, just they work a lot on just character and how you present yourself. Um, and I learned that from my parents. My dad, he's a businessman. My mom, she works right next to him. She works with him. So I mean, they've always been big on presenting yourself well and body language, and so that's where it comes from.
Now, obviously, it's important to have balance in life. Football, you have school, you have football, you have all these responsibilities. You have a lot on your plate
Yeah.
as a young man. But what do you like to do when you're away from the football field? What are some things that you're into that you like to do when you have some downtime and you need a break from school and your responsibilities in the game?
Um, Hanging out with family. Family is a big part of my life, and I want to be here without them. So, being with family, um, you know, uh, just overall being with my friends, and you know, they can help me, just like decompress from everything, um, and probably honestly lifting helps me, just like kind of clears my head and uh, just helps me, focus.
You know, going back to the recruiting piece for a sec, obviously, when the day comes that you make your decision and you're ready to announce where you're going to go to school, I would imagine your parents, your family is going to play a big part in that decision. Is that going to be the case, or are they going to be hands off and ultimately it's going to be your decision where you end up?
I think that, I mean, I think they will play a big part in my decision. Obviously, they've said from the jump, this is, it's where you want to go, it's where you want to, play. So, we're not going to try to, butt in too much, but you know, they've been a big part of my whole life. So, I mean, I want their opinion. I want to bounce ideas off them. They're going to be right with me this whole process. So, um, they're going to be a big part of the process, and just how you know they're going to be with me on these visits. They're going to see how these coaches treat me, and treat my family. So, I mean, overall, they're going to be a big part of my decision.
So, what is a game day like for you from the standpoint of, you know, getting ready? Are you a superstitious guy? Do you have to put out your uniform on your bed the night before the game, or what is a game day like? And let's hold off on pregame meal and music because those are two separate categories in this
Yeah.
conversation. Let's start with Wyatt Scarritt's game day routine.
All right, so I really don't have that many, superstitions, or like, game day traditions. I like to just be able to be relaxed, and um, I'm always nervous on, on game days. I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't. So just being able to, zone in and before the game, and um, be able to just focus, and that's a big part of my game day tradition is just taking some time to get away from all the hype, jumping around, pushing each other around in the locker room, just to be able to lock in and focus.
And one of the most important questions I'm going to ask you, especially as an offensive lineman, is pregame meal. Now, I get a wide range of answers with this.
Mhm.
I get guys that go to Chipotle. I get guys that have subs. I get guys that just have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Some guys just have a banana. Some guys don't eat anything at all.
Mhm.
What is your pregame meal? Inquiring minds want to know.
Honestly, depending on what time the game is. So if we have a game around 3, I'm not a big morning breakfast person. So I really, try to keep it light in the morning. But right after, I'll have some pasta, I'll have some chicken. We have team we eat always as a team. So whatever the team is eating that day. That's what I'm going to be eating.
And another big part of this show, Wyatt, is music. I'm a big music guy. I like talking music with players. Now, are you guys at Avon Old Farms, are you a speaker in the locker room, team DJ music setup, or are you guys doing your own thing? You have your own earpods in, listening to your own music. And if that's the case, what are you listening to before a game?
I was usually a big, rap guy back when I went to public school, but recently my teammates got me into country music. So
I like it.
That's a big part of what I listen to, and just country music, and big R&B guy. So I mean that's really what I listen to.
Now, when you say country music, what artists do you like to listen to before a game? I mean, I can't imagine you're listening to, I don't know, Luke Bryan before a game. I mean, you're probably listening to something with a little bit more bite.
Mm-hmm. I'm a big Zach Bryan guy, so that's usually what I'm listening to. Zach Bryan. If I had my playlist open right now, I can tell you, but I'm also a big Motley Crue guy.
Oh, nice,
yeah,
excellent.
Yeah, that's a big.
So you'll delve into hard rock, and
like I usually listen to country. When I'm walking over to the locker room, or I'm getting to the locker room, and then I kind of ease my way into, some Live Wire or whatever. Whatever I'm trying to listen to.
I gotta recommend outlaw country. Get into outlaw country. It's good pregame music. A little Hank Williams Jr. A little Waylon Jennings, maybe some Jamie Johnson is tremendous. Chris Stapleton. He's become a little bit more mainstream, but I think you'll like those guys. Definitely add outlaw country to your playlist. It's definitely going to enhance the pregame experience. And I like that you said the Crew. I mean, it's interesting. I saw them a couple of summers ago, but I like that you mentioned them as well. So you must also delve into some of the other hard rock as well.
A little bit. I mean, I really got into Motley Crue from our running back Owen Moreland. He's a big hard rock guy. He's always on the speaker in the locker room. So I got into that. I forgot what the other person is called, but that's mainly what I'm listening to in the locker room.
Hey man, listen, it's also about managing those feelings before a game, right? Yeah. It's easy to get fired up and kick the door down, and you got the eye black on, and but once the whistle blows and that ball is kicked off, you've got to manage your emotions as well, because now it's about focusing in on playing the game and playing your position at a high level and winning the game as a team. Final question here for me, Wyatt. I want to say thank you again for taking the time, brother. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
when you make that decision to commit and eventually at some point, what is that program getting in Wyatt Scarritt? What kind of a player are they getting? What kind of a person are they getting?
Mm-hmm. I mean, overall, they're getting a great teammate, a great athlete, a great competitor. Avon really helps with that. The brotherhood. This coach really has this saying, the standard is a standard, and he sets the standard pretty high. So I mean, they're going to get a great overall person, a great athlete, and just an overall competitor and a hard worker.
Well, and I would add to that, I think they're going to get a very mature young man who's got a good head on his shoulders and knows what he wants out of his college experience, and has been mature enough to think about life after the game. So they're going to get a good one for sure. Wyatt, I want to say thank you for taking the time, man. Yeah. Really appreciate it. Good luck with things, and don't be a stranger. Make sure you stay in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime, man. That is Wyatt Scarritt, offensive lineman from Avon Old Farms. That'll do it for this week's episode of the Recruiting Visit. For Wyatt, I'm John Serenitas. Till next time.